As 2021 comes to a close, the reflection of a roller coaster Monster Jam season was evident, with a flurry of extreme highs, lows, twists, and turns.
Holy cow!
With 26 grueling rounds in the rearview mirror, the 2022 season is on the horizon and is prepping for a triumphant return of a field of 48 drivers navigating these 12,000-pound machines.
Yeah, that's that wow factor.
This season is setting up to be epic, and it's your chance to get into the action, to see familiar faces, old foes and rivals, brand new rides, and the return of the biggest event of the year. So sit back, get out your popcorn, and get ready to be taken on the ride of a lifetime as we go through where and when your favorite Monster Jam drivers and trucks will be competing in a city near you.
Welcome to the 2022 Monster Jam schedule announcement.
Welcome inside Monster Jam World Headquarters just outside of Tampa, Florida. I'm Scott Jordan alongside the incomparable Leslie Mears and, of course, Cole Stevens for a very exciting evening as we unveil the 2022 Monster Jam Tour lineups.
That's right, Scott. This is one of my favorite times of the year because we all get to share insight on the upcoming season of Monster Jam, like the number of tours on the 22 season, cities each tour will be stopping in, your favorite drivers who will be returning, and a few familiar faces in some new rides, and some returning to old rides. There are a few surprises that you don't want to miss. We also have new trucks that will debut and a truck that's getting a new paint scheme.
2021 was a crazy year with all the ups and downs we all endured that still saw Monster Jam bring monster trucks to stadiums and arenas across the country. Cole Stevens, let's hear from you. A lot of crazy highlight moments in the 2021 season. Looking back, what stands out to you?
You know, 2021 was definitely crazy. I saw a lot of different things come from different drivers, but one thing that definitely stood out to me is we had all three Andersons under the same roof. We never really see that ever. We got the opportunity to do that in 2021. And one thing that they brought to the table is the fact that they brought a lot of the skills moves from Skills Challenge into their freestyle. So this is kind of changing the way Monster Jam is working with the freestyles and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what 2022 has in store.
What stood out to me was Cole Stevens wearing a suit to work every day. That's what stood out to me.
Definitely different.
That was phenomenal, but I want to go back to your point about two-wheel skills coming into freestyle. How hard is it to stop that 12,000-pound truck on its nose when you're flying 40, 50 feet through the air?
So I grew up actually driving in stadiums a lot more than arenas, and we've seen them do the Skills Challenge moves more in arenas, and them to transfer that over to stadiums. We knew we were going to be carrying a lot more momentum, a lot more speed, and it's hard to control those trucks when you're going that much faster, but for them to actually get it figured out and actually dialed in and do the moves over and over, it was phenomenal.
With 26 rounds in the series, a champion was crowned, but the season had a number of great moments that kept the crowds on their feet.
Welcome to NRG Stadium right here in Houston, Texas, the premiere episode of the 2021 Monster Jam season.
This is a star-studded cast, very best in the business of Monster Jam. Man, I cannot wait to get out there and compete and whoop their tails, too.
Even off the race ramp, even around the first turn. She's right there, she's got him! Kristen Anderson making a push.
When I was going for the bicycle to moonwalk, it went too far. I was able to bring it back down and pop it into the moonwalk.
Coming for the 8-pack backflip, and there goes Tom the Duke.
It's a spectacular show. Really cool to be back.
Oh, he's over, he's over. This track is different than anything they've seen this year, possibly even in their career.
This track is huge. There's so many obstacles out there. I'm excited to see what these drivers have in store.
He goes sideways and whips it. We are back at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. Worlds are about to collide here in Indy. LeDuc and 7-time Supercross champion Jeremy McGrath.
Jeremy, even though this is the first time here lining up in a Monster Jam truck, he is a motorsports connoisseur, and Todd better have his A game.
And McGrath has got him coming into the first turn. Oh, he's over. Jeremy McGrath rolls in the first turn.
We have a re-rack.
Back in 2020, the long-awaited Monster Jam Hall of Fame was officially announced, and shortly thereafter, the first two inductees were announced as being Gravedigger creator and driver Dennis Anderson and the longtime voice of Monster Jam Scott Douglas.
And I want to thank y'all for every nut and bolt on my truck and every shingle on my roof.
Other sports have fans. They don't have Monster Jam fans.
Monster Jam is here to stay.
This is the battle of the year. The grueling 2021 Stadium Championship Series has brought us to the point where now it's brother against brother in what might go down as one of the most epic Monster Jam matchups of all time. Oh, he got it!
This trophy's great, the points are great, but you guys have made Monster Jam what it is.
Show off your fandom with your favorite Monster Jam truck merchandise. Visit MonsterJamSuperstore.com for the largest collection of t-shirts, hats, flags, and more for each of your favorite trucks. Now, for a limited time, you can use the code 22KICKOFF tonight to receive 20% off your entire purchase. The offer does end at 11:59 p.m., so see MonsterJamSuperstore.com for rules and exclusions. Now, we're just moments away from announcing the first tour, and you do not want to miss this lineup.
Your favorite trucks and drivers are coming to a city near you, so stay tuned to find out when and where you can see some exciting new truck designs, and best of all, the return of the biggest event of the year, Monster Jam World Finals, and find out how you can get the Monster Jam experience of a lifetime. Stay tuned.
Monster Jam 2022 schedule announcement is brought to you in part by Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Now it's time for an Unleash the Beast moment of 2021, brought to you by Monster Energy.
And now Tyler Duke gonna make a sharp turn. He will line up for the Monster Energy backflip ramp.
He's gonna have to go slow.
Gets it in, gets it up, gets the bounce. And oh, what a save for Tyler Duke!
We saw him do that once already this year. That's why he comes away with his freestyle win.
Thought he was dead in the water, catches it on one tire, lands it. That has to be the save of the night.
Welcome back to the 2022 Monster Jam schedule announcement presented by BKT. I've been getting asked for months on social media about when is the 2022 season announcement coming.
Well, that's right now.
Obviously.
It's happening. It's time for the 2022 Monster Jam Stadium Championship Series Yellow announcement presented by Spin Master.
And we start things off with the 5-time World Finals champion Adam Anderson back in Gravedigger. And look at Colton Eichelberger in Max D, his first Stadium Championship Series. Charlie Pauken back in Monster Mutt, where he won his only World Finals championship. Bryce Kenny in Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Camden Murphy back behind the wheel of Bakugan Dragonoid. And you can't forget about Caleb Blood in Soldier Fortune.
Corey Rummel returns to pilot Megalodon, and a new driver, Craig Champion, in El Toro Loco. I'm really pumped to see a father-son duo on this tour, so it'll be Jim Kohler, Avenger, the father, out there on tour with his son Chris Kohler driving Axe, and this will be Chris's first time in a Stadium Championship Series. Then the last two on this tour will be a pair of brothers, Mike Christensen driving Vendetta and Paul Jensen in Jurassic Attack.
That's a lot of work for Jim Kohler. He's got 4 trucks on this tour, so no rest for the weary there. Let's talk about Camden Murphy in Bakugan Dragonoid. So he had to sit back and watch Ryan Anderson win a Stadium Series championship in what is basically his truck. He debuted Bakugan Dragonoid. Now he gets to come back, but there's got to be some kind of pressure on him knowing that he has to follow in the footsteps of Ryan Anderson.
Well, I don't think just pressure, Scott. I think Camden Murphy's going to come out with a vengeance. He's got something to prove. He doesn't want somebody else to go out and win in his truck. He wants to go out and prove that he deserves to be there, and that's his seat.
And you have to remember, too, he came oh so close just 2 years ago on his own tour to winning that championship. And there's a few times that he didn't make competitions where he's got to be looking back and kicking himself. And for me, I'm looking at Colton Eichelberger. You know, he filled in Max D a couple years ago in Houston. We saw him come out so strong and prove that he could do it in a stadium. And then back to the arenas he went. So for him to compete on this series, it's going to be something special. Now that we know who's competing on the Stadium Championship Series Yellow, let's take a look at the cities where they'll compete for a chance to receive an automatic bid to Monster Jam World Finals. So they'll kick things off on the West Coast with 4 big weekends in California, then to Monster Jam favorite NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. We'll see El Paso in the mix, as well as a couple events in Florida, and then head up the East Coast. A special place to me, the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. I don't know what it is about the dome up there, but it always has some wow moments.
Well, you were there when it opened, so that's probably why it is a huge deal for you. Let's talk about Anaheim, California, the return to California for Monster Jam. Angel Stadium, my favorite baseball stadium for a Monster Jam event, just an electric atmosphere. But I'm going to tell you a couple obscure facts here about some of these buildings here. You talk about East Rutherford, New Jersey, MetLife Stadium, huge building, but the best flea market you will ever go to in
100%.
your life. You can find everything there. And then Huntsville, Alabama, the Von Braun Center. Incredible atmosphere for Monster Jam, but there is a 100-yard hallway that connects the building to the hotel. It is the hottest heat you will ever feel in your life. So if that interests you, the Von Braun Center is the place to be. Colt, from this list of heavy hitters, it's going to be a tough lineup to see who comes out on top. So now I'm going to put some pressure on you. If you got to pick one driver to win the series championship, who's it going to be?
Scott, you got a good point. This is a very strong group of drivers here, but how can you bet against Adam Anderson? It's the 40th anniversary for Gravedigger. He's going to be on his A game. He's going to go out there to win every single event. Racing, skills challenge, freestyle, everything is going to be on Adam Anderson, and he's the one I think to beat. But the one person I mentioned earlier, Scott, is Camden Murphy. In 2020, he debuted this Bakugan Dragonoid. He came out with a vengeance, did some awesome moves, some wild, crazy stuff. So one thing I'm definitely going to keep my eye on is Camden Murphy and that Bakugan Dragonoid.
Now let's hear from one of the competitors on this series. Joining us now via the Great Clips cam is the driver of the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, Bryce Kenny. Bryce, welcome to the Monster Jam 2022 season announcement. Now you've seen who your competitors are, you know the lineup, and then who stands in your way for that automatic bid to World Final. So what are your initial thoughts looking at this series?
Well, I think it's going to be just intense. Every single weekend we go out, it's going to be highly competitive. I'm excited by every single competitor that I saw, but I'm also a little bit nervous as well. I mean, there are really no easy competitors to go against in all of Monster Jam, but I feel like that our tour is just especially stacked.
So, we saw you one season ago really laser focused on the two-wheel skills challenge. And so how do you think that focus will help you or enable you to maybe take the series championship this season?
Well, I think the focus came from just needing to improve from the seasons before. I mean, that felt like the one event that we just I couldn't go out there and get quite good scores on, and I was okay in racing and freestyle, and I needed to kind of fill that gap with the Great Clips Skills Challenge. And then this season, it felt like the Skills Challenge was really where we shined. And it was almost as if now we've got to go back and find our groove again in the freestyle competition. So we're going to put it all together. I know my team is very confident. I'm very confident. I just am looking forward to January to get here already.
So a driver that you cannot seem to get away from at all is Adam Anderson. You both always seem to be competing on the same series. You have your podcast. It's like you're a package deal now. So I'm going to give you credit where credit's due. You started to put together, a really good racing record against him. But do you think he is your biggest threat on this tour?
Adam Anderson, no matter where he is, he's the biggest threat. Whether he's having an on night or an off night, he doesn't have very many off nights. And that's the thing. It's when it comes to chasing a championship, it's all about consistency. And Adam Anderson has to be one of the most consistent drivers in the history of the sport. And so for me, yeah, I mean, if I'm chasing a championship, I'm chasing after Adam Anderson. But if it's just within different competitions that we have, whether it's racing or skills or freestyle, that's really me versus the truck in that moment. And so Adam is so fun to run against. For me, it's out of pure respect that I want to take out Adam. I want to end up on top when it comes to between the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior versus that black and green wrecking machine. I think all of us drivers love those moments where we can take out a Gravedigger competitor, and Adam is no different. So I'm excited about being on the same tour with him once again. I think it's our 6th straight season, maybe 5th. But I'm antsy to get back out there and line up against him in racing once again.
All right, Bryce, so one way to shut me up this year, win an event championship. I promise you nobody in that building will be going more nuts than Colt and I up in the broadcast booth. So thank you very much for joining us, and good luck next year on Stadium Championship Series Yellow.
Thank you, guys.
Now you know the drivers will be competing on Stadium Championship Series Yellow, and you also know the cities and venues that they will compete in. So here is how you can get your tickets to see them in action.
Tickets for select cities will go on pre-sale beginning Tuesday, September 14th for preferred customers, and you can sign up to become a preferred customer absolutely free at monsterjam.com. Now, tickets for the general public to some select cities will go on sale on September 21st. You can check monsterjam.com often as we will announce new markets. We'll have updates and announcements. And of course, our preferred customers will be the first to know. So what are you waiting for? Sign up right now to be a preferred customer.
Now we're just getting started. Up next, we dive into the Arena Series as we unveil the Arena Championship Series Central and West drivers and locations. Also, the Road to World Finals 21 has been paved back to Orlando, and we'll give you details on how you can win the experience of a lifetime. We'll be right back with the Monster Jam 2022 schedule announcement.
Monster Jam 2022 schedule announcement is brought to you by UNOH. Turn your passion into a career.
I'm Wayne Avengers Racing. The 2021 season has been incredible, and it's not over yet.
The 2021 Monster Jam season has been action-packed and is coming to a close. But the 2022 Monster Jam season is right around the corner.
Favorite moment from the 2021 Monster Jam season has got to be Tom Meents and Max D. Fire flying that truck across Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. I cannot wait until he is back at Monster Jam World Finals in Orlando and going for that 13th championship.
I cannot wait for the 2022 Monster Jam season. World Finals 20 Championship title defense starts now.
Welcome back to the 2022 Monster Jam schedule announcement presented by BKT. Now, as we mentioned before, it's Monster Jam's 30th anniversary, but it's also the 40th anniversary of Gravedigger. We've seen a lot of epic trucks over the years, but Leslie, none more iconic or famous than the legendary Gravedigger.
Please welcome the icon, Gravedigger's Dennis Anderson.
I got to tell you guys, man, this whole thing for the last 40 years was never a plan. It just happened. I took a bunch of stuff laying in the boneyard, put these big combine tractor tires on a truck, and created this mud truck that's really known today as a mega truck.
His life was dedicated to these trucks, to racing, competing, and traveling around the country.
And a lot of our childhood memories are always so crazy to think back on. My dad had a Gravedigger street truck. He wanted to drive it everywhere. We go to get pizza, here goes the Gravedigger street truck, doing a burnout, being a madman.
Way back then, he was always the guy, he was the only guy. He was the one that was wrenching on the truck. He was the one that was crashing the truck, winning in the truck, breaking the truck. And I think that's where my dad got his passion from, is just because he was eat, breathe, sleep Gravedigger all the time.
My favorite part of driving the trucks was being the show-off and being the hero. I wanted to wow the crowd. I may not have ran the longest out there, but you could bet one thing, if they were going to waste any film, they didn't waste it on me.
Adam came out of nowhere, young age. He's still, to this day, the youngest world champion. He started in a certain position in Monster Jam where the caliber was here, and he jumped in here.
There is pressure that people don't even realize, and I wasn't sure if Adam was going to be able to take it. And I'm going to tell you, man, once he got confidence, he was better at it than I was, and he was one hell of a driver.
Kristen Anderson with her first stadium freestyle win.
My little sister has come along and just turned everything for a loop. She's the pretty girl, the sweet girl that's driving the bad boy truck, and it brings in a whole nother world.
Gravedigger is the most iconic truck in Monster Jam. When they wanted me to get behind the wheel and really see what I had, I was nervous.
She's out there, she has no fear. And my favorite part is I feel like she proves people wrong. She's got the skill and the talent and the reckless abandon to show all the boys what's up.
You know, when you look at the brand and how it has grown, that name has done so much for me, from curtains to bed sheets to now on NASCAR. It's just unbelievable.
It's pretty obvious in 40 years it's done nothing but get bigger. As a father, I definitely hope my son follows in my footsteps, and I hope that he's going to be the one continuing on the Gravedigger legacy for another 40 years.
I hope that Gravedigger is something that people can love and, you know, be fans of for generations upon generations. But I just hope that I never get to see it end in my lifetime.
Gravedigger's been around for 40 years, longer than I have. And to see how it's affected other motorsports, other sports in general, and they strive to have that, but nobody can give that. It's not something that you can just create. It's got to be natural. None of us can be Dennis Anderson. We can all be a little bit of Gravedigger.
Every big win and every success along the way in the last 40 years, I've always thanked my fans, and I thank them for every nut and bolt of my truck and every shingle on my roof, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Now, Scott, I know that being around Monster Jam for the past 15 years myself, there's nothing that gets crowds more exciting than hearing that Gravedigger is in the building. And next season, every teamed Gravedigger driver will showcase a new 40th anniversary paint scheme on their ride. And Monster Jam World Finals 21 will celebrate 40 years of Gravedigger with a special encore on Sunday night.
And everyone everywhere will get a chance to see the black and green wrecking machine, as Team Gravedigger is slated to have a driver and a truck on every tour. Now, some of the best places to see that new 40th anniversary paint scheme in action, close and personal, is in the arena. So right now, let's take a look at the drivers who will compete on Arena Championship Series East as we roll on with the 2022 Monster Jam Arena Tour Series preview presented by UNOH.
So starting off in Arena Championship Series East, Brandon Vincent will represent Team Gravedigger. I'm really pumped and excited to see Cody Saucier back. Man, that kid has got a lot of skill for sure. Brianna Mahan will be in Whiplash, and Bernard Light will be in a new ride this year in Megalodon.
And Chad Tingler coming back in Stone Crusher. And you know, we say that seat time is everything. Chad Tingler, one of the longest tenured drivers in Monster Jam. Now we have 3 Monster Jam trucks that are on this tour without a driver yet. So first, let's talk about Ice Cream Man and FTI Torque. Now those are both J.R. McNeil owned trucks. And then sliding over, you have a Hooked, which is a Steve Sims truck. So both JR and Steve are 2 of the most well-respected owners in Monster Jam. So I'm sure the drivers they select will be phenomenal on this series.
And you've got to give him credit for choosing Chad Tingler. He's kind of my one to watch on this tour. He has more experience in arenas than any other driver on the tour, and he knows the little tips and tricks and what it takes to really make a crowd get up on their feet, and that's going to help him with fan scoring.
Well, sometimes experience and seat time doesn't always get you the win, but a guy that has a little bit of both, he's got that young superstar excitement and the seat time to back it up, is Brandon Vincent, driver of Gravedigger. When he came back into Monster Jam about midway through 2021, he came in with a vengeance and had one of the better racing records in Monster Jam. I think at one point he won 20 out of 23 races. I don't see how he is not the favorite here.
You know, what's really cool about this situation, Scott, is the fact that both of those drivers, Brandon Vincent and Cody Saucier, they were technicians for Monster Jam, and they slowly worked their way up the ladder all the way to that seat, and they're both title contenders on this tour. I'm excited to see what they have in store.
And the East Series will kick things off in North Charleston, South Carolina, and then move up the East Coast to some historic Monster Jam cities like Worcester, Massachusetts, Allentown, Pennsylvania, Louisville, Kentucky, Albany, New York, and then my favorite, Evansville, Indiana. That's actually where I hosted my very first Monster Jam.
I want to talk about the Carolinas here because I think it's going to be crucial in determining who gets the automatic bid to World Finals. And we start in North Charleston, South Carolina. As you mentioned, we have Greensboro, North Carolina, and Greenville, South Carolina. We all know that North Carolina, South Carolina, that is Gravedigger country and Ric Flair country, but for this show, it's Gravedigger country. And Brandon Vincent, of course, lives there as well, so there is a huge hometown advantage for Gravedigger. We know that the fans vote at judgesown.com, and you know, in the past, judging has been a little speculative sometimes, Colt, when it comes to, you know, the voting. So it could be a huge factor knowing that there are 3 Carolina shows in this thing, and not that Brandon Vincent wouldn't earn it any other way, but it just could give him an edge up there. And now, Colt, I've fallen in love this summer with these Monster Jam arenas after spending most of my career in stadiums. You know, it's a smaller atmosphere, but the energy absolutely electric. When you pack a smaller group of fans in a smaller space, you just get more noise. So talk about who you think is going to come out of this series here in the East and make it to Monster Jam World Finals.
You know, I have to agree with you when you say North Carolina is Gravedigger country, and it might be good for Brandon Vincent, but I'm going to have to go with my man Cody Saucier. A lot of people don't realize he was actually one of the first guys to pioneer the stop beat, which has led to what we see today as the skills challenge, a lot of the moonwalks and stuff like that. So if Cody can capitalize on that and keep moving forward, I feel like he's going to run away with this championship because there's such a small floor, but if he can add that flair and that new stuff, Cody's got it in the bag. But the one person you need to keep your eye on is Brianna Mahan, Whiplash. She also went to stadiums the last couple of years. She's really performed really well and at the top level, so she's going to go hard. She's going to be one to watch.
Arena Championship Series East has some big talent, but we aren't going to stop there, guys, as we have 3 exciting arena tours next season that are covering almost every major city in the U.S. But let's reveal who'll be driving on the West Series.
Now, you talk about big talent, and a female driver that has a lot of big talent, which led to a championship, is our reigning World Finals freestyle champion, Lindsay Reed in Scooby-Doo. And we have another World Finals champion in Armando Castro in El Toro Loco, and Tristan England returning to Earthshaker. So the 3-time Triple Threat Series champion going back to arenas in Earthshaker. And we said there would be a Gravedigger truck on every tour, and that is an absolute promise. We just don't have a driver announced yet, so keep checking back to monsterjam.com gravedigger.com for updates as to who will pilot Gravedigger for Arena Championship Series West.
And West will also include 2 trucks from Team Throttle Monster, one being Wrecking Machine, the other Jurassic Attack, driven by Dave Olfert. We saw him in Salt Lake City. He was just phenomenal in that truck, and I'm excited to see him back. Then we'll also add the husband-wife team of Travis Mowry driving Extreme Attitude and his wife, Kaylin Miguez, driving Jailbird.
You know, the husband and wife dynamic, could lead to some awkward conversations on the ride to the next city, depending on how the events go. So, Travis, very young kid, Kaylin as well. I know they're a huge family, but Travis has a little spark to him sometimes. And he talks about his relationship with his father-in-law, Darren Miguez, and his wife, Kaylin Miguez. But I want to talk about Tristan England and the return to Earthshaker. When he came back is midway through 2021 and ended up taking over Megalodon for Adam Anderson, just came back in such an impressive way, started putting together competition wins, started winning event championships. And I know after talking to him, one thing he wanted was to come back to Earthshaker. Now he has that. So when I look at this lineup, I think he has to be the favorite as a 3-time Triple Threat Series champion, now back in the truck that he made famous.
I have to totally agree with you on that, Scott, and that's why he's my pick to win this series. We talked about Lindsey Reed being the past World Finals champion. She did, no doubt, have a great run at that World Finals, but the thing about this is a season-long tour. You have to have a great run each and every event, and I don't think Lindsey's going to quite be up to the task, Leslie. I think that Tristan England's going to be the one to go out there and put it on show after show.
The Arena Championship Series West will kick off in Salt Lake City, and it is a small but mighty arena and a great place to head out on the road. Then they'll head up to Tacoma, Washington, down to Sacramento, Fargo, North Dakota, Nampa, Idaho, Fresno, Des Moines, Moline, and I'm excited to see Colorado Springs on here.
And Green Bay, Wisconsin at the tail end of that series, a home of the Green Bay Packers, a home of champions, so to speak, which that event being right before World Finals, that could be where we crown the champion on this tour. But I am circling Wichita, Kansas. I've said it before, I'm going to circle with my finger. In Trust Bank Arena, I had a chance to go there in 2021 this year and host some of the events there. A phenomenal town, an incredible atmosphere at the arena, some of the best funnel cakes I've ever had. It is a Monster Jam city, and you were going to want to go there. We got a long way to go, and still coming up, we will give you a glimpse of a brand new Monster Jam truck being revealed this year, and we'll tell you who's going to be driving it. We'll also take a look at the complete schedule for Stadium Championship Series Red, and you will get a sneak peek of the return of the biggest stage of them all, Monster Jam World Finals. All that and more next.
Monster Jam 2022 schedule announcement is brought to you by Lucas Oil. It works.
It's time now for another Unleash the Beast moment of 2021, brought to you by Monster Energy.
And he is on a tear right now. Jim Collar going overboard. What a save! Get it! And he's got it! Unbelievable!
Welcome back to the 2022 Monster Jam season announcement presented by BKT. We're so excited to announce the 5 series championships that will make up the 2022 Monster Jam season, as 48 Monster Jam drivers will compete for a chance at the 24 spots at World Finals 21. So right now we're going to dig right into the 2022 Monster Jam Stadium Championship Series Red preview presented by Lucas Oil.
And we'll have a battle between student and professor, as we'll see Tyler Menninga representing Team Gravedigger, the student against Professor Tom Mentz in Max D. Series champion Ryan Anderson will be in Son of a Digger. Mark List in El Toro Loco. Todd LeDuc is back. I'm sure you can expect some of those leaps out there. And then Cynthia Gauthier will be piloting the brand new Lucas Oil Stabilizer.
Then we have Ryan Disharoon bringing Saigon Shaker back. Team Tom Fullerton Motorsports represented with Matt Pagliarulo and Nick Pagliarulo, Jester and Kraken. John Gordon in Bad Company. Jamie Garner in Overboard, and his teammate Cole Vennard in the Black Pearl.
I think Cole Vennard's going to be the sleeper on this tour. He starts a little bit slow, gets his feet wet, and then really dives in. And so we've really seen him elevate his freestyle game with the walk the plank. It's a thing of beauty when he can pull it off in competition. And I think that he's going to be one to watch in this crew of so many talented drivers.
And the walk the plank backflip is one of, if not the most impressive moves in Monster Jam. Nicole, you said it's a mistake, right?
It is a mistake that he capitalizes on. He under rotates a backflip, potentially breaking the truck, but then pulls it off. awesome job.
So Stadium Championship Series Red, some tough competition. You mentioned, Tom Mentz, Ryan Anderson, Todd LeDuc. Ryan Anderson going to be tough to dethrone in any series, winning this year's Stadium Championship Series. But let's talk about Tyler Menninga getting his first opportunity at a Stadium Championship Series. All this kid does is win, no matter what, no matter where he is, arenas, stadiums, and I think he has what it takes to win this entire series.
But Colt, what challenge is he going to have moving from the arenas where he's been so successful to a competition floor that's over twice the size of what he's used to?
Believe it or not, I've had this conversation with both him and Tristan England many a times. Those moves that they're doing in the arenas is extremely hard, but then add the momentum of a stadium to that. They become even more hard to perform because the truck's just moving so much faster. All that weight's transferring so much quicker. So that's one thing Tyler's gonna have to deal with. He's gonna have to overcome quickly. And we've seen it bite him a couple times in stadiums. But if he gets it figured out, he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and he's a driver that's made it to the final round of World Finals Racing a few times and has yet to win, so I know it's got to weigh heavily on him.
It's unreal how fast he was at World Finals. Like, I honestly, he was going so fast, it was scary down those straightaways. He never lifted. He goes to the chicane when we were at Sam Boyd Stadium, so fast in that truck, fully committed. That just shows the talent that Menninga has.
Well, the field is talented, but they're going to have to take a look at these competition tracks in these different stadiums. So let's take a look at the Road to World Finals for Stadium Championship Series Red. They'll kick things off at the Alamo Dome, a Monster Jam favorite there in San Antonio, Texas, and then go to St. Louis, Missouri, which has one of the biggest competition floors in Monster Jam. We'll hit up Florida and then Arlington, Texas, Pensacola, Indianapolis, a huge showstopper event there, and I'm really excited to see Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan back on the map.
And we're going to the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, one of the best stadium areas that I've ever been to, where you have the Eagle Stadium, you have the Philly Stadium, and a whole bunch of entertainment, so it's a great place for fans to go and have a good time. I love Tampa on there. It's always great when Monster Jam gets to stay home at Raymond James Stadium, the home of the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers, but I love going back to US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. It is a beautiful, beautiful building, and I've only ever been there in the winter, so the fact that it is going to be February, but maybe it might be a little warmer than usual in Minneapolis at that time.
I don't agree with you many times at all, but I will agree with you on Minneapolis.
Colt Stadium Championship Series Red, a lot of big names, over 17 World Finals championships. That's a lot. Ryan Anderson is here, the reigning Stadium Championship Series champion. Who can unseat him, or can anybody unseat him and take this series?
You know, I've been dreading this call right here, Scott. This is actually the hardest call for me. That whole top row of drivers is extremely talented. I'm just going to have to go with my gut on this one. Ryan Anderson's going to walk away with it. You know, he's got the whole package. He's so fast in racing. He does so good in skills. In his freestyles, you never know what's going to happen. And the thing is, he's back in his truck this year, so he's going to go out there and absolutely drive it into the ground every single weekend. So Ryan Anderson is definitely my big pick. But like we said earlier, Scott, Tyler Menninga, got to keep an eye on that kid. He's got some good stuff up his sleeve, and I hope he can put the whole package together.
And don't forget about, guys, our World Finals high jump champion, Cynthia Gauthier. She's joining us now from the Great Clips Cam. Cynthia, welcome. We are so excited to have you with us here this afternoon. So how exciting was it for you to be able to get back to Monster Jam and back out with your Monster Jam fans?
I mean, it means so much. Missing like a year and a half competing, I just realized how Monster Jam was a big part of my life. I mean, it's kind of like a second family for me. The Monster Jam fans were talking to us through social media, but to get that phone call and be like, hey, it's time, you're getting back in your seat and back in racing. I was kind of nervous because it's been a little bit, but you know, it's kind of riding a bicycle. You don't forget it.
And I think the most exciting news for you is that you're going to be the pilot of the brand new Lucas Oil Stabilizer. And so what does it mean to be in a truck that is sponsored by the Lucas Oil brand and to represent the Lucas Oil family?
It means a lot. I mean, I grew up with my dad in the garage, and my dad used those products for anything we have with an engine at the house. Even at the racetrack, I seen that logo when I was a kid, you know. It means a lot to me. It's a company that really support racing, and that new truck, that stabilizer truck, is just going to be amazing. I'm so excited to see it in person and to show it to all the Monster Jam fans. I don't know if you know, but Forrest Lucas built that company in the back of his hauler 30 years ago. So I have so much respect. It's a family company, and I'm just super stoked about this opportunity.
You've been at the forefront of the women's evolution in Monster Jam. So how much pride would it give you to be able to go out and show these young girls and female fans everywhere that you can be the only female competitor and beat these other 11 male drivers and win this series?
You know what? It means a lot to me that I get that opportunity to represent all the girls out there and show that we can do it too. I mean, with Monster Jam, it's pretty amazing. I mean, we get to compete on the same track with the same Monster Jam truck, same helmet, anything. So it's kind of cool. We all race at the same level. So when the helmet is on, it's game on. We all want to win. So I love it. I love this sport, and I just love the fact that we get a lot of victory in the last couple of years. I mean, every weekend I seen like girls getting overall victory. So we're there when we're in fire. So watch out next year, guys.
We're excited to keep our eyes on you for Stadium Championship Series Red to see what you can bring to that tour. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule for joining us here, and we'll see you out on the track, Cynthia.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, tickets for select cities on this series will go on pre-sale beginning Tuesday, September 14th for preferred customers. Again, you can sign up to become a preferred customer absolutely free at monsterjam.com. Tickets for select events for the general public go on sale beginning September 21st. Check monsterjam.com often for new markets going on sale, updates, announcements, and our preferred customers will be the first to know. So what are you waiting for? Go right now. Sign up to be a preferred customer.
So we're beginning to wind it down, but your chance to get in on the action will continue all season long. Up next, we'll look at the path of one of the most anticipated arena tours in recent memory, and you'll find out how you can win the trip of a lifetime to the biggest event of the year, Monster Jam World Finals 21.
Monster Jam 2022 schedule announcement is brought to you by BKT, growing together.
Hey, this is Adam Anderson.
This is Bryce Kenny.
Lindsey Reed here.
This is Tyler Duke.
Ryan Anderson to drive a Son of a Digger here.
And in 2022, you fans better be ready.
We're excited for 2022.
We're going to go back wild. We've got 5 tours, 5 Monster Jam tours coming back around the United States, and you better get ready.
Get ready.
We've got some action coming your way that you will never forget.
We're coming to your city, so go to monsterjam.com, check out what cities we're coming to.
I personally cannot wait to meet each and every one of you.
This is going to be the best year of Monster Jam yet.
30 years is incredible and such a proud achievement for the entire organization. In that time, we've seen so many legends made, and the great part is that those moments continue to happen every single week on dirt tracks across the world. Right now, it's time for our final tour announcement for the 2022 Monster Jam Season Arena Championship Series Central. So let's continue on with the 2022 Monster Jam Arena Tour Series preview presented by UNOH.
And representing Team Gravedigger on Arena Championship Series Central will be Kristen Anderson, veteran Tony Oaks in Soldier Fortune Black Ops, Elvis Linez, the young up-and-comer in El Toro Loco. It was really exciting to see him at his very first Monster Jam event. And then Bari Musawwar will be back in Zombie.
And then 2 of the new generation of superstar second-generation drivers, Zach Garner in Wildside and then John Zimmer Jr. in Terminal Velocity. They will be joined by 2 other Monster Jam trucks and drivers that will be announced at a later date. So again, the place to be is monsterjam.com. We'll have all the updates and announce the remaining 2 drivers and trucks for this lineup.
I'm really interested to see how Elvis Linez fares on this tour. We've seen him in the Great Clips Mohawk Warriors truck as they added a second truck over the course of the last season, and how well he's done in that truck, winning overall event championships, and the passion that he has for the sport and the way that he's come into it as being club help, you know, kind of just lending a hand wherever he could, to becoming a driver. It's really something special.
Yeah, I was so impressed with what he did in the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior truck through the arena tours. I was there when he won some of those event championships, and he, you know, personifies the fan to superstar. I mean, he started coming, as you said, 2 years old, and as club help, he literally was a guy, that pesky kid you just couldn't get rid of, who was just around raising his hand, volunteering to do whatever it took, and now he's a driver. Hats off to him. I want to talk about the competition between Kristen Anderson and Bari Musawwar. These are two that competed on the Stadium Championship Series in 2021, so a lot of experience there. Kristen Anderson going back into arenas has become the superstar we all knew she was going to be, but Bari Musawwar, Mr. Consistency again. He's done it everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's Triple Threat Series, Arena Series, Stadium. So it's going to be fun to watch those two going back and forth, especially in the donut competition.
All right, now that we've talked about the competition, let's look at the cities on Arena Championship Series Central. So they'll kick things off in Baltimore. I know that's your favorite that you won't stop talking about later. Then we'll head to Kansas City, Missouri, and when you come out of the T-Mobile Center, the streets smell like barbecue, and that's my favorite because I always bring it back to food. Newark, New Jersey, Elmont, New York, Austin, Texas, then head to the Midwest, Toledo, Ohio, Grand Rapids, Columbus, Cincinnati, and my favorite, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I love the Mohegan Sun Arena at Casey Plaza.
Austin, Texas has become the new Hollywood. A lot of movies getting made there, a lot of film festivals. That city is paved in gold. I'm telling you, the nicest airport I have ever been to, and it only gets better from there. So Austin, Texas is going to be a great weekend. But yes, Leslie, you are right. I am from Baltimore. I will never not be from Baltimore. I will always, be that Baltimore kid. The Royal Farms Arena to kick things off. It's the first time I ever saw Dennis Anderson drive. Gravedigger was in that building. How fitting would it be for Kristen Anderson to come in week 1 on this series and win in that building on the 40th anniversary of Gravedigger? All right, Cole, we just announced the 5th and final tour, so a very competitive mix here as well. Who comes out of the Central and stands tall as a series champion?
Everybody's probably going to think I'm crazy for this. I'm going to have to bet against an Anderson. I've talked about it before. And if you want to win this entire championship, consistency is key. So I'm going to have to go with Mr. Consistent, Bari Musawwar. He was so consistent last year in that zombie truck. He's got those zombie arms going. The fans are behind him. So I think Bari's going to come away with the championship.
Speaking of Mr. Consistency, joining us now from the Great Clips cam is the driver of Zombie, Bari Musawwar. Bari, welcome into the 2022 Monster Jam schedule announcement. So out of the gate, you just saw your lineup a minute ago. What are your thoughts on your competition when you see your tour?
Man, I love this lineup. It's a stacked field. I mean, you got some veterans like myself. Tony Oaks has been on Arena Tour with me the past few years. But now we got some newcomers, some new up-and-coming, huge, talented names when you talk about Zach Garner and John Zimmer Jr. Those guys are hungry. They have a point to prove, and they are excellent drivers. So it's really going to be exciting to watch that tour unfold.
So the asterisk that kind of follows you and your career, the elephant in the room, so to speak, is going back to the racing finals 2 years ago where you crossed the finish line first, but you're red lit and Jimmy Cretin won the World Finals Racing Championship. Now this season, you win your series, you punch your ticket to your home stadium, which is Camping World Stadium in Orlando. You get that shot at redemption. Is that something that is in the back of your mind at all?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's in the back of my mind when I'm kind of off the track and not really focused on the event at hand at that moment. But, when I'm done at home just thinking about it, or if my son wants to rewatch Monster Jam World Finals, it's like, okay, it punches you right back in the face and you have to deal with that reality of, being right at the edge of winning a major title when it comes to Monster Jam racing when you talk about World Finals. So, yeah, I still think about it. I still feel like that was my race to win, and hopefully we can make it back there and do it one better this coming year.
Well, and just being at Monster Jam World Finals is already stressful enough for drivers. So how much more stress is added to you personally by being in your hometown, and that's basically your home track?
I kind of look at it as like motivation because I've got the full support of my family there. My son loves Monster Jam, so I really just want to go out there and do good for not only my family, but the home state fans, the hometown fans that come up and I talk to throughout the year, and they just encourage me. So I don't feel the pressure of it. Of course, I say that now. We're a lot of months away, so that might change. But for right now, I'm cool, calm, collected, and hopefully ask me that again when it comes time for Monster Jam World Finals there in Orlando.
Now, he's a two-time Guinness World Record holder. He's Shaquille O'Neal's favorite Monster Jam driver. Thank you, Bari Musawwar. Very much looking forward to seeing you back in the arenas next season.
Thank you, guys.
Coming up, the 2022 championship tours have been laid out. The road to the World Finals is set, and these drivers, crew chiefs, and technicians now have one goal: to etch their names in Monster Jam history as world champions. Find out what's in store for the return of Monster Jam World Finals next.
Yeah, here is one more Unleash the Beast moment of 2021, brought to you by Monster Energy.
Ryan's a very technical driver.
Oh, stoppie in freestyle. Slows it up into a stoppie.
Oh, he's not.
He's got it on one wheel.
Axle.
He's got on one wheel. It doesn't matter.
Yes!
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. One wheel.
First gear. Doesn't care. Blow it up.
Ryan Anderson getting it done in a big
He's gonna
way.
leave it all out on the track.
And he goes over here. He's going to save it. Another save. Ryan Anderson again on one wheel.
Show off your fandom with your favorite Monster Jam truck merchandise. Visit MonsterJamSuperstore.com for the largest collection of t-shirts, hats, flags, and more for each of your favorite trucks. Now, for a limited time, you can use the code 22KICKOFF tonight to receive 20% off your entire purchase. The offer does end at 11:59 p.m., so see MonsterJamSuperstore.com for rules and exclusions.
This coming year is sure to have some intense competition, as all of these drivers will be going at it to get that invite to Monster Jam World Finals. Monster Jam World Finals 21 will be in Orlando, Florida, and will take place on Saturday, May 21st and Sunday, May 22nd. The biggest pit party of the year begins on Saturday morning, and entry to that pit party is included in the price of your ticket. Saturday night will feature the racing competition and the skills challenge, followed by a very special 30th anniversary encore. The pit party opens on Sunday morning, followed by the high jump competition and freestyle, and the weekend will close with an emphatic special Gravedigger 40th anniversary encore.
And if you're planning your trip to World Finals, make it a 3-day weekend, because on Friday, May 20th, there will be a bowling event in the afternoon that will benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And then on Friday night, we'll have the Monster Jam Award Show, followed by the Monster Jam Hall of Fame Class of 2022 induction ceremony. You can find all the details and information on the events in travel packages at monsterjam.com. Leslie, you going to be in the bowling tournament?
You know it.
All right.
You had me sold at Digger Encore. End of story.
You had me sold at Emphatic. Let's go.
Tickets for Monster Jam World Finals go on sale September 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern. And for your chance to win a trip for 4 to Orlando, sign up at monsterjam.com.
A monster truck was just in orbit. Awesome move! Look at that! Yes! World Finals high jump champion Cynthia Gauthier off the container ramp. Perfect! Come on, buddy, yeah! And he just set sail. Cowabunga! What a save! Whoa!
There are 24 spots currently open in the field of competition at Monster Jam World Finals. And to get one of the 5 automatic bids, the rules are simple. Win your championship and you are on your way to Universal Orlando, which is where I will be on Thursday. Not Friday, but Thursday. It's close enough. The 5 series winners get an automatic bid to compete for a World Finals championship, and the other 19 spots will be filled via at-large bids based on a driver's performance throughout the season. Now, Colt, you've been to World Finals. You have competed at World Finals. So what does it mean as a driver to get that automatic bid?
You said simple. One thing about it, Scott, It's never going to be simple. You have got to get through each and every event. You have to be consistent all the way to the end if you want to make it to Monster Jam World Finals. It's not about that one event. You have to be smart. You have to have a strategy. You have to have a good crew. You have to have the whole world come together just right for you if you want to get that championship and make it to Monster Jam World Finals. I can't wait to see who gets it done.
Tickets for select cities will go on pre-sale beginning on Tuesday, September 14th for preferred customers. You can sign up to become a preferred customer absolutely free at monsterjam.com. Tickets for select events for the general public go on sale beginning September 21st. Check monsterjam.com often for new markets going on sale, updates and announcements, and our preferred customers will be the first to know. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now to become a preferred customer.
This season is going to be absolutely epic, and what a phenomenal way to get fans back in their seats and into the action for 2022.
Well, the great part, Scott, is that the fun just doesn't stop here. Throughout the season, we'll be announcing special events, stops, and contests. So you fans, make sure you stay locked into monsterjam.com, or you can tune in and watch Monster Jam TV with Scott, Colt, and myself every week to see more market ads and special appearances coming to a city near you.
On November 13th on NBC during our preview show, we're going to unveil the 2021 Monster Jam Award winners, and you will be able to vote for the fan favorite category. Now, there are 24 drivers who have competed or still are competing in 2021, but only one of them can be the fan favorite, and that is all up to you, so make sure you vote. Keep checking monsterjam.com for information on when you can vote, and then tune in to NBC on November 13th to see who wins. 5 star-studded tours have been announced tonight. Leslie, which one are you looking most forward to?
For me, it's all about Arena Championship Series East. I love that they're coming to historic Freedom Hall in my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, but it's also the drivers on that tour too. You've got a lot of different styles that are going to converge on the competition floor, right? You've got the ragged edge driving of Brandon Benson. You've got the inventor of the stoppie, Cody Saucier. Who knows what else he'll come up with? And then you've got the wily veteran Chad Tingler, who's seen more arenas than any of those guys probably combined. It's going to be epic.
How about you, Colt?
You know, I'm going to have to go with that Stadium Series red. Heavy hitters across the board there. I'm going to be watching every single event from racing. There's going to be so many fast passes. The skills challenge. Who's going to come up with something new? And freestyle. I mean, it's going to be out of control. Stadium Series red is what I'm watching.
And for me, it's Stadium Championship Series Yellow. I'm excited to see Adam Anderson and Colton Eichelberger reignite the biggest rivalry in motorsports, Gravedigger versus Max D. Now, I know you at home are just as excited as we are for the 2022 season and, of course, the return of Monster Jam World Finals. There are still action-packed Monster Jam events happening right now in a city near you, and we would love to see you there. So for tickets and more information for this season and next season, head to monsterjam.com, and don't forget to become a preferred customer so you can be the first to get your tickets for next year. Now, for Colt Stevens and Leslie Mears, we are so excited once again to be your broadcast team for 2022. I'm Scott Jordan saying thank you for watching, wishing you a fantastic night, and we'll see you next time at Monster Jam.